A very good morning, afternoon, or evening from wherever you are in the world. We're back with another daily market outlook, and EURUSD has continued to push up higher, though we're starting to see somewhat of an overall retracement in towards the downside from nowhere else than the 3 monthly open level, which is a notorious level for resistance or support. Now, EURUSD has been pumping in towards the highs, guys, after a Federal Reserve meeting or FOMC meeting, statement, press conference, whatever you want to call it, on Wednesday, after which EURUSD flew in towards the upside for around 130 pip move. Now, with that upside push, what has now happened is that EURUSD here on the daily time frame has broken the overall order flow, meaning that this here is now the overall sell for the buy, which could be seen as your overall area of demand from where we can now potentially look for new further upside / longs. Looking at EURUSD here on the daily time frame for myself, it remains clear that the overall swing low is positioned on this low here, and this here is the overall swing high. The market has retraced into the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level and below it, and after taking out final liquidity, we've now seen a overall reversal in towards the highs, after which we've seen a 12-hour / 4-hour overall order flow shift. The pullback was facilitated by these buy before the sells, with the first one being here, second one being here, and the third one, which was this buy up for the sell down, now being broken with this overall FOMC upside push. So what are we looking now for EURUSD? Well, we're looking for further upside continuation plays, as with now with the overall order flow shift, we expect that the overall next upside impulsive phase can potentially start. Because when does the next impulsive phase in towards the highs start? It starts when you take out liquidity and once you see the order flow shift occur. So what I'm looking for now is, simply said, just a retracement and then the next upside leg in towards the highs. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, what we can now here see is that the demand zone from where we preferably would want to be going long is situated over here, this sell down before the buy up. We have a little bump in the road here, which should act as an area of liquidity, and from there I'll be looking for potential further longs. Furthermore, going into the 12-hour time frame, we can see that we now have a break of structure here in towards the upside. So what I'm ultimately seeing here is that this is your entire impulse up, meaning that we could also perfectly fine see a deeper retracement to, for example, this low here itself, and then look for longs, for example, from the overall monthly open. So I'll be looking for longs. It depends on how your USD develops, but overall, with the market structure shifting internally / order flow shifting, the daily swing still being bullish, I am favoring a next upside push. In previous times, what this would look like is that you have the overall impulse phase here in towards the highs. Within that impulse, you have multiple liquidity lows, this one here and let's say this one here. Liquidity here gets taken out, and then where does the order flow shift happen? After taking out this buy up for the sell down. The order flow shift then takes place. This is then the impulse up, and then we, for example, push back down towards this liquidity low, which aligns with, let's say, the 0.5 fib. So the same is what I'm now looking at here in this situation, where we could then, for example, look for longs if your USD does drop down lower to, let's say, the 0.5 fib, and then look for the next upside drive from there. So with that said, let's dive into the dollar index. The dollar index is now making a retracement up higher, which was pretty much expected. Looking at the dollar index, the only difference with EURUSD is that it is still bullish. So this here is the swing leg up. What happened is that we took out liquidity here of the high, but we never really saw a break of structure. So that failed to make this, let's say, the strong low which broke this high. Therefore, your swing range is still bullish between the overall low that you have situated here and the overall high that is situated here. This here was the bump in the road. This low specifically, and now what we're looking at is a dollar index that has a bearish order flow but is still bullish on the 4-hour swing structure. So what I'm now looking at here on the dollar index is still 4 further short positions, and then preferably from the overall internal little liquidity high, which is situated here, this black line, and from there we can look for shorts. But if we do see a breakout in towards the highs and we break this overall area of supply, then that could mean that we could look for another long there on the dollar index. But so far, shorts are still definitely in control, and that should be our main focus here on the 4-hour. Going into GBPUSD, the pound remains weak. Though we must be realists, like I like to call it, and you can still see I have the same chart drawn in from yesterday. What's happened here is that we've come up in towards the 3 monthly open, which we seem to be rejecting, kind of like that area of price. What now I'm looking for on GBPUSD, because GBPUSD is a little bit different to EURUSD, because the pound is relatively weaker than the euro. We've had an overall strong impulse in towards the downside here on the daily time frame for GU. We have taken out a little bump in the road right here, and we've rejected the zone of the 3 monthly open level. What I'm waiting to see now is a daily change of character, so push down, retest, and then look for further short positions in line with the daily swing structure, but also in line with the 4-hour swing structure from that high in towards this low. We can see that we have a clear internal trend here facilitating the pullback, and if we want to look for any potential short positions, we need to wait for the breaker structure to happen and then look for a short. Other than that, longs are still in control, and what that means is that we could look for a short-term long position from, let's say, this internal low here. That could provide you with the next impulse up. So looking for longs from that low, or looking for the shorts once the order flow shifts, and then I'll be taking a short in towards the downside on this low break, okay? So that is GBPUSD. Moving on into AUDUSD. So AUDUSD and NZDUSD still remain very, very bullish. To be very honest, guys, I'm only looking for longs on AU. There's many reasons why the Australian dollar is still bullish, but I'll break that down in a later YouTube video. Looking at AUDUSD, I mean, what are we expecting? We're expecting further upside price action. So for myself, I'm just looking for more opportunities to take long positions. Overall, the impulsive phase took place here, and any potential retracement could facilitate the next drive up higher, monitoring this low over here, but we'll have to see and wait for cleaner price action. NZDUSD, I'm looking for longs still as well. As I've been saying pretty much every single market outlook, and I continue to say that, I'm only looking for longs on NZDUSD, though I would prefer somewhat of a liquidity grab in the near future of, let's say, this low, maybe this low, before looking for new long positions. Yeah, that is pretty much that. For the rest, it's relatively ugly price action. Not much to do with it. And other than that, I'm just looking for more longs. Then we have, of course, the USD pairs. So USD CAD has continued to sell off, still looking for further sell-offs in towards the equal lows, which are positioned here on the blue dotted line. So not looking for longs, just looking for shorts. And then obviously we have liquidity, let's say, on this high here. So if we were to take out that high again, then we could look for another short. USD-JPY, I'm looking for more upside. UJ has been pushing up because of the interest rate differential with the United States, obviously. So I don't really need to break this down too much in detail, but here we have the swing low, here we have the swing high. Market retraces into discount pricing. Within discount pricing, we retrace the lowest liquidity low, which is this one here, after which we see a 4-hour change of character up, 4-hour change of character up, go to the 1-hour time frame, and you have impulse higher, and then you have another impulse higher. What's now happened here on UJ is that you've taken out liquidity resting underneath, let's say, this low, and these lows here. And what I ultimately then expect is that the market heads up higher from that low in towards, let's say at least the 1 to 2 RR. Ideally, if you were still waiting for a position, then just look at this as a future demand zone. And once you break out, then you can look for new long positions. Going into USD-CHF, still expecting further downside to take out the equal lows here eventually, which is the blue dotted line. Not really much or anything else to say than that. It's a relatively consolidated pair, as we can see. It's ranging. I don't like ranging pairs. I prefer to trade trending pairs. So ultimately, I'm just waiting for the lower bound of the range to get hit again, this blue dotted line. From where then in the future, again, we could look for maybe a bounce. But for now, short term, still looking for further downside. And then, of course, we have gold, last of all. So gold in itself is bullish. I've been highlighting why it's bullish every single day. Yesterday, a Venezuelan oil tanker got seized by the US government, if I'm not mistaken. I'll drop a link to that inside Discord. But again, I've been calling for a long every single day. So there's not much more that I can say than just, keep on looking for longs. And any potential retracement is another opportunity to go long. What we have now is creating internal bumps in the road here, even this, let's say, range low here. And I'm just looking for longs on any potential pullback. And I expect a new all-time high on gold very, very soon. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day. Any questions, let me know inside Discord. And have an amazing weekend. Thanks.